Terrorist attack, any declaration?
The guy we're working will drop the big hammer and not think twice about it.
He's on the move again.
Chicago, no China.
This is only the beginning.
I can target anyone.
He's still writing.
What for?
Anything. Anywhere.
Hello and welcome to the Parking Lot Projectionists podcast. My name is Andrew Chin.
And I am Raymond Tang.
Today we saw Blackhat starring Chris Hemsworth. Raymond, what was Blackhat?
Blackhat is a 2015 action crime drama.
It's a drama?
Yeah.
I was wondering what it was. Okay, sorry.
Oh, man. Oh, it's directed by Michael Mann. It is about a furlonged convict. How you say this word? You have to edit this.
Furloughed.
It is about a furloughed convict and his American and Chinese partners hunt a high-level cybercrime network from Chicago to Los Angeles to Hong Kong to Jakarta. And it stars Chris Hemsworth, Viola Davis, Wei Tang, and Lehom Wang. You wanted me to start? Start there?
I don't know where to begin.
All right. So
we start off on a teal planet.
Oh yeah, it was like the Tesseract was in its orb form instead of a box.
What the frick?
Like what is it? A cube, yeah.
Then we zoomed into Japan, Florida.
Japan, Florida. That's what we zoomed.
Well, it looked like it was. It looked like it was Florida, and then it turned out that there were a bunch of Chinese people. It wasn't even Japan. Florida. It was somewhere in China, but it looked like Florida. I was like, oh, we're zooming into Florida. It's like, oh, there's an awful lot of Asian people here in Florida. I don't know what they're doing here.
Extra Asians in Florida. First off, let me apologize to everybody. I'm a little sick right now, sinuses and whatnot. The boss made me come into work today. Told me I couldn't take a sick day.
This is gonna be edited out.
Okay. He doesn't. He's not a bad person, everybody.
This guy's the one who made us watch this movie, so he had to suck it up and watch it.
I chose it. I did. This is my fault.
So anyway, we're in Japan, Florida, which is really China, nuclear facility.
The camera zooms into the grid. And I was expecting Jeff Bridges to start doing a voiceover, but he didn't. We go in the grid, we're just seeing a bunch of light show stuff.
We zoom into a computer, then we zoom into the motherboard, then we zoom into a little fragment of the motherboard, then we zoom into a little tiny piece of electric wire, and then we just start seeing a visualization of computer data. All these little windows, a bunch of little whites and green windows. The white is a diverting rogue signal that's going outside to some other computer, which is going to hit the enter key. And we know what happens when you hit the enter key.
Oh, yeah. Shit goes down. I'm glad you knew all that, Andrew, because I didn't know.
You didn't
know those parts of the computer.
You didn't know
I didn't know what it was doing.
They needed some action at the beginning of this movie, so they had a CGI department.
That was their action?
That was their action. They had a CGI department create an information superhighway chase where a rogue section of this information superhighway broke off and it went over to some evil dude, evil Zach Galifianakis' office, and he hit the enter key.
Yes. Spoiler alert, everybody.
Spoiler.
Last time we had evil Lloyd Christmas, we got evil Alan in this one. Spoilers. We'll get to him later.
Though they save the reveal of who this guy is until the end. After he hits the enter key, it sets off a signal all the way back to the nuclear plant in China, and then it stops the fan. And then, oh no, we don't have anything to back up our fans. And so there's a nuclear meltdown.
Wait, so the two light shows, was one of them like an anti-software that was trying to fight it off or something?
The green windows were going somewhere regular.
So it was green? I must be colorblind. I thought it was just white.
There was a white one that diverted out of the green, unless I was going crazy.
So you said action sequence is making me think that it was supposed to be an antivirus trying to fight it off, but the antivirus lost. We pull out of the computer system. Workers hard at work just reading the newspaper. Once the fan breaks, there's no alarm system goes off at all. None of that.
Bryan Cranston's waiting on his wife to get out and slams the door in her face.
The system just overheats and explodes. Some people die. The way they set the dude up, the good guy, Asian guy, the camera shots and everything of him, I thought he was the villain of this movie.
You thought?
Had this like serious look on his face. There's a guy with a car. I thought it was his henchman. He got the thing. I thought he was going to impersonate military personnel.
That is true. That is true.
See, I thought he was like...
it wasn't a regular introduction. I thought he's Chin Dawi. I thought he stole the uniform.
Yeah, they
and
like
he was a
zoomed in on the
villain.
name tag.
It was
And
very
this
sinister
guy
zoom.
they sinisterly set up the protagonist of this movie. He goes in, he starts talking to the people. He's like, I don't know what's going on. We got hacked. They blew it up. It was like, whoa, is it terrorists? Is it some crazy fanatics? What do they want? Do they want money? I don't know. We got to cooperate with the Americans because they had an attack too, but somehow their anti-software stopped their attack.
So apparently Chinese people, they were okay with a movie being shot in their country, calling them incompetent compared to Americans.
I guess they got good relations with Legendary Pictures because this is Legendary Pictures.
Good relations with Legendary Pictures they have.
Yeah, they do. Legendary Pictures and Universal, because you know they don't mess with Warner Brothers anymore. Ooh, bad blood there. No, there's no blood. I don't know.
There's bad blood.
You think there's
There's
bad
bad blood.
between Warner Brothers and Legendary?
Where there's soup, there's water.
We cut to Chris Hemsworth in prison, listening to his smooth jazz. Prison guards are in full riot gear, come up to him, put your hands on the wall. They handcuff him, knock over his shit. He's like, hey, don't touch that. And they just like start beating him up. One guy maces him in the face with like a stream of mace. It's not a spray, it's a stream of mace in his face.
He got the Thor extinguisher.
And they carry him. It's so funny the way they carry him.
Yeah, they carry him with his belly facing the floor.
It cuts to him in the office talking to the principal. The principal was like, did you use your cell phone for this test? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I hate you. We cut back to, I can't remember.
Terra Venture?
Oh shit, everybody. So we cut back to the Asian protagonist. I'm sorry, I call him the Asian protagonist. It's very racist.
Chin.
Chin.
Dawi. Or
Chin.
Y.
We cut to Chin.
Chin Dawi. Right off of the back in this movie, it is moving so slow. And then we just cut to a scene of Chin at a desk or a typewriter or something.
He's looking at, I guess it's the code that they use to
Yeah, the
hack.
code.
And he's reading it. And he gets so mad.
Yeah, he just starts randomly tossing the code papers around and just lean over to Raymond and is like, he's reading the screenplay right now.
Man, I hate this script. I don't know why I'm in this movie. I hate it so much. But apparently he saw that it looked familiar, and it was his code that he wrote a long time ago with, spoiler alert, Chris Hansen. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hansen.
Chin has to recruit his sister because she needs to have relations with Chris Hemsworth in this movie. So that's the only reason for her. When he goes
he's
in...
recruiting her to be the love interest in this movie.
He's recruiting her to be the love interest to the guy who did he help put him in jail or something? Or they were just roommates or something?
Apparently they were roommates
in
in college, and he did one part of this amazing code. Chris Hemsworth finished the other half, and they were good buddies, and then they went their separate ways.
That's what it was in the beginning. The code, it sneaks in and opens up the whole system to you do whatever you want. So when he walks in, he sees his sister getting hit on by the Blue Ranger from Lost Galaxy, ladies and gentlemen. We freaked out. We were like, oh my God, this guy.
He's going to be in the movie. They got, come on, they got the Blue Ranger from Lost Galaxy.
Lost Galaxy Ranger. He's giving off some kind of vibe towards the protagonist's sister here. He didn't morph, which was disappointing.
I expected him later in the movie to just show up during a random attack.
He should show up during that attack sequence where they were shooting.
Lights of Orion, activate!
He could activate the lights. Shit, man! Why didn't you activate the Lights of Orion?
You get a rated R battle where he's just slicing people in half as a Power Ranger.
It would have been great. He goes, gets his sister. He's in the meeting with the FBI, and the FBI guy is talking. He's just being very, very disrespectful. And every time this guy says something, he's just like, hey, you wrong. Or like, that's wordless. I knew that way back in 99. Or something like that. He's just being a real dick.
Yeah, they had their brightest employee giving a PowerPoint presentation about what happened at the Chinese nuclear facility, and he's standing off to the side making all sorts of comments. He's making all sorts of comments. He's making all sorts of comments. Like the guy says, what I could tell whenever I looked at these patterns and these codes was it was two separate people. Yes, it was two separate people. And you know what I could tell by looking at the second one? Apparently it was a guy who's very complex. No, he's just messy. Why am I in this effing room with this guy?
He was being a real
Can't
dick.
we just go off alone? He's just saying this in front of all the people who are watching his presentation.
The FBI, it's like, this Chinese guy is being very disrespectful to us right now. We need to kick him out, right? No. So Viola Davis takes him and they go have a meeting and he's like, well, I really need to get my friend from college, Chris Hemsworth, to come help me out. I'm sorry, his name's Hathaway. I need Hathaway to come help me out. What? We're not getting some criminal help you out, but, you know, for script purposes.
I guess we will.
Yep.
Before the record, we said no first.
Oh, Lord. So they send it some guy we haven't seen before to talk to Chris Hemsworth. Guy's like, if you do this, we'll cut your sentence down to community service, some shit like that. And Chris Hemsworth was like, nope, just gonna let me out of jail, fool. Oh my God. So he calls Viola Davis like, how bad you need this fool? And so they let him out, and him and what's his name again? Chen and Chris Hemsworth.
But they were both called Chen as their first name. Do Chinese people have their last name first? Because it was Chen Da-wee for him, and then it was Chen something else for the sister.
Maybe their parents just decided to be lazy and just call them both Chen.
But they have a different last name. Maybe they like to put their last name
Maybe
first.
the last name was first on the name tag. That's what it probably was.
And they got confused, and they thought that was their first name. And so they put in the credits as
talking
Chen.
about the people?
I'm talking about the people who made this movie.
In the credits,
credits, it lists their first name as both Chen Da-wee, and then Chen something else.
I don't know how Asian culture works. I guess that's how they do it. Chris Hemsworth and Chen, they get together and they hug, and he's like, I love you. It kind of lingers in that, and it seems like Chen is whispering something in Chris Hemsworth's ear, and I think, oh yeah, they're about to do something secretive, take the money from the government. Apparently they didn't. So he does that, and then they show him look at the sister. Ooh, that's my love interest right there. They start walking to the airplane.
You're the only female character who's not Viola Davis in this movie.
So you got to be the love interest, because Viola Davis can't be my love interest.
That's unfortunate. That would have been interesting.
That would have been nice.
Thor and Viola Davis.
Oh, God. Door walks and the airplane's right there. And instead of turning to get on the airplane, the camera lingers on him, looking out in the distance, taking in civilization. But there were no people around. It was just an open not even a field. What would you call that? Just an open area where airplanes, a landing strip.
Yep.
There were no airplanes there. So I thought he was like, man, since I've been in prison, we must have teleporters now. There's no airplanes anymore. Why are we taking this airplane?
We're in the future.
All
the airplanes are gone.
All the airplanes are gone.
Or he's thinking about making a run for it. Either way is a valid interpretation.
He should have just stayed in prison for all this shit. I can't remember what was next, Andrew. They go... Oh, they get on the airplane. Viola Davis was like, hey, you can't let Chris Hemsworth use a computer. That's not part of the agreement. And Chen was like, but I need him. You understand? He's going to be monitored. Don't worry.
Cool it, Chica.
She's like, do I look Hispanic to you? And then she just looks at the camera with that face and then looks back. She breaks the fourth wall. And he's gonna be monitored. Calm down. He's got the ankle bracelet on.
Got this bodyguard.
We got everything. Everything's happening. We got him under control. But a lot of people leave Chris Hemsworth unattended in this movie. He gets his hands on a lot of computers in this movie, y'all. We'll tell you. We'll get to him. Oh, the next thing that happened was the villain. No, it wasn't. Was it the stock market crash?
It was the stock market of soy. We had another amazing information superhighway chase.
It didn't crash. It went up for this certain business for soy. They went to where I guess the hack came from.
Oh yeah, they went to some sort of server farm, and there was a stuck-up computer worker who was. No one knows my password. It's my thumbprint.
Excuse me. Well, did you have any employees who would come in here who don't like you or got fired recently? And then he was like, oh yeah, there was this one guy. So the one guy.
Oh really?
Is that guy. Yeah.
This is like, one guy. Okay.
They find a guy and they start looking at camera footage of him. He's shaving in the bathroom, which apparently is something business people do a lot. They'll go in public restrooms and shave, which I thought was just not cool to do.
Generic tattoo guy
Was shaving, and then he got fired. And they was like, let's pull up his information. It was like, it's false. Just give me his picture ID and I'll find him. They find his IP address. Go to his apartment. He's in there dead, overdosed. I don't know if he got killed or...
Oh, at one point they do mention that they think...
They think what?
It was intentional. I mean, they think it was murder.
Oh, you think it was murder?
Yeah, they think it was murder after something that happens later.
They should have thought it was murder from the beginning. This movie, y'all.
So basically, they find the body of Mr. Tattoo Guy. They see his computer. They blah, 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 blah. The bodyguard comes in. He's like, I don't know what's wrong with my phone. I gotta set the alarm. I gotta... Hemsworth's like, here, I know how to do that.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
like, oh,
this is what
thanks,
happened.
Chris. I appreciate it.
He tries to call the police to come about the murder of Tattoo Guy, and he doesn't get a signal. And so Chris Hemsworth's like, here, let me try. And then he starts playing like Sudoku on the guy's phone, and then Angry Birds and all that shit. And he like flips some switch to where the ankle monitor will be a day late. So this cop, he knows Chris Hemsworth's not supposed to be using computers. And he hands him his smartphone. And Chris Hemsworth does that, sets his thing back in time, pays a couple of bills, hands it back to him, and the guy makes the phone call perfectly. After that, Chris Hemsworth worked his finger magic and made the cell phone work. Calm down, ladies.
And then they separated from the bodyguard somehow to go to a restaurant.
Yeah, the bodyguard let them go off on their own to a restaurant.
What's the point?
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth got on the guy's computer and typed in, let's meet for the pickup for the money.
Trying to draw out the lead
trying to draw out
guy.
the bad guy.
Yeah.
And
We go to this Chinese, Taiwanese, whatever the fruities
it's a little
restaurant.
racist, so Raymond just gonna say a nice Asian restaurant.
Oh, that's better.
It's a nice Asian restaurant where Chris Hemsworth and his Chin sister, Chin Yang. Should we separate them like that? That's Chin Yang, Chin Yang.
The internet is at our disposal, but we're gonna call her Chin Ling.
Chin Ling. So him and Chin Ling
Take about 5 minutes to get in, sit down, and look at the menus, and then we have a scene.
Camera. She's yelling at Chris Hemsworth, you ain't in jail no more. You need to act like a normal person. Girl, I'm a thug, and I do what I want. All of a sudden, Chris Hemsworth's spidey sense goes off. Wait a minute. And he's sniffing around, and he smells a computer in the back, and he walks back there. None of the employees stop him. And he gets on the computer, and he sees that there's a camera that was watching him the whole time. Then he gets on the computer, and he starts Facebook messaging the villain. The villain's like, hey, I seen you. Chris Hemsworth like, I am Ghost Man. I will take you down. He was like, no, you won't. Chris Hemsworth unplugs the computer, walks back into the restaurant. Some thugs walk in, Asian thugs walk in, and we're about to have a fight sequences. Now, this is directed by Michael Mann. I've never seen this in his movies before. He's always had nice, clean fight sequences.
I don't know. He's a huge fan of shaky cam. Miami Vice, Public Enemies, Collateral, all have a lot of digital shaky cam.
Yeah, but his shaky
lately.
cam in those movies were okay, in my opinion. Here, he went nuts with shaky. Like, he did shaky cam, and then I think he, like, CGI'd some more blur in there or something, because you really couldn't tell what was happening.
I just ignored what was happening for a while. I just
Either it
glazed
was-
over and
It had to have been the way he was zoomed in on. Of course, Chris Hemsworth, being the protagonist from prison, beats up the guys and pulls out a beer bottle, slashes the guy's face, and then they escape in a taxi cab. Where did they go?
they go to some building that we're not told where it is. They're alone together for some reason. The brother contacts them and lets them know, hey, we're going back to China to investigate the nuclear facility. Catch you later. Oh, by the way, F Hemsworth for me because he's looking smoking hot today.
Yeah. They have this sex scene early in the movie. Now, in my rule in movies, when you have a sex scene that early, either the female is going to die or she's a villain. It didn't happen.
Supposed to be a legitimate relationship where the only conversation we had was completely inaudible in that restaurant. Believe it or not, she was easier to understand in her broken English than Chris Hemsworth was. Chris Hemsworth is mumbling most of his lines in this movie. There was a feud and I got
He was in prison, Andrew. It's his prison slang.
Yeah.
He's got to be gangster.
You're just having a conversation like,
That was some racist shit. Oh, man. Seriously. Around here.
I understand.
Oh, my God.
And that's when they fell in love.
They go try to investigate at the plant. The guy, mustache Asian guy at the plant, tells them, bruh, you can't go in there. Why didn't you call first? I would have told you can't get in there. You got to wait for everything to start cooling again. because you can't get to the drive where you need to find out the IP address or whatever they was going to find. So that was a waste of a scene because they didn't call ahead. Oh, shit. What happens next?
They decided to take a helicopter ride without putting on any protective gear right outside a meltdown nuclear facility, and then they walk up to all the people in hazmat suits like nothing's going wrong. Nobody gets radiation sickness in this movie. It's pretty cool. Well, they go in and they talk to some mustache guy who's at the nuclear facility, and then they ask, hey, do you think this guy has any political motivations? Does he want money? We're going to pretend the audience didn't read this, read the subtitles at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, y'all who don't know how to read subtitles.
At the beginning of the movie. We're asking the exact same question that the Asian officials asked at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
For some reason. And then they decide, but my buddy downtown has been tailing somebody who might be involved. It's like,
oh, yeah.
All right, let's go meet him in his van.
So we meet this Asian cop who's a pretty cool guy. I really like this little Asian cop.
Was his name Chris Platt or something?
Chris Platt. No.
He said Platt. He called the guy Platt when he died. No, Platt. No, Platt.
Yeah.
No, Platt.
Platt, no.
No, Platt.
So he, somehow this mustache guy knew that these guys were hunting this hacker guy. So he was like, oh yeah, my other Asian friend is a police officer. He can help you guys. When they found an IP address on tattoo guy thing, they found out that the money was under these three guys' names on the three different accounts. Whenever the stock went up for the soy, the stock went up. It was in three different accounts, and these three men were three guys that the Asian cop was tailing. They would walk by a certain area. Apparently, the police officers knew this already. They didn't want to share that information with the audience yet. Kazar, who's the second in command of the villains, was just sitting on the bench the whole time, just texting. They're like, yeah, Kazar just sits there and texts. But we've been tailing these three guys. They get Chris Hemsworth to be like, I guess I'll use my common sense powers. And so they do the lines where the guys have been walking the whole time, and they show where they all intersect at, which apparently the cops already knew because they've been sitting at that same spot looking at Kazar the whole time. It was ridiculous.
What was the point?
How this scene
what was the point of Chris Hemsworth figuring it out if they already had someone stationed there?
Somehow they already knew. I think they just wanted a white guy to do it instead of these Asians.
At that point, the movie's moving so slow that I don't even know what's going on. All I know is that Chris Hemsworth is just drawing some colored lines down some streets and saying, "Look, I connected all the lines. Let's go here." It's like, wait, what? What just happened? We got the blue one, we got the red one, we got the green one. They all cross right here. Let's go.
This is where the villain is. They watched the villain for a little bit. Second in command villain, who is he was the second in command mob boss in The Dark Knight, everybody. You didn't recognize him?
No, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, that's him.
I would have enjoyed this a lot more if I recognized that guy.
That was him. So they're looking for him. Oh my God, it's the best part of the movie. They're looking around.
They're all just standing in the middle of this empty park, looking for some sort of a device or some sort of clue.
Looking for something, some kind of clues. And Chris Hemsworth sits down exactly on the bench where the guy is. He's like, okay, I'm pretending like I'm texting. And Chris Hemsworth walks over to the bushes and pulls out what at first looks like to be a block of C4.
He's got a block of C4.
He's playing with it in his hands. I was expecting Chris Hemsworth to go at any moment.
He's rotating it around, forward and backwards. Just so...
Apparently, it was a device that the guy was texting to that these guys could just walk past and collect information from and then delete the text message afterwards. They don't have to meet or nothing like that.
They're able to trace the routing C4 device to where Kazar's place is, and they set up shop in an apartment nearby, and they start looking through binoculars, and Kazar, from about a mile and a half away, randomly sees one little reflection of light in a glass, and he's like, oh, people must be watching me.
It was a coffee pitcher thingamajig. Yeah. So Kazar...
Chin Dawi walks in on Chin, Ling, and Thor lying together in a bed, and then they get in a helicopter together. And
yeah, he was like, hey, turn to channel 4, please.
You said it with my sister!
he took it pretty well. He was like, yeah, we went to college together. You're like my best bud. I guess you're my only friend. I guess I can let you just have my sister. So that's what I assume. But, you know, you're still a convict. You're still a convict. And
if this thing goes south, it's not just about you. It's about her. I don't want her life being ruined for 9 years while you're locked back up in there.
That's the same exact line. Good job, Andrew. I don't want to ruin your sister's life, but damn, she fine. So he hung up the radio, even though they still like staring into each other's eyes across the helicopter. So they go to hunt down the secondary villain, and
there was a shaky cam sequence.
Oh yeah, they're running around. And, yeah, like I said, he does like this zoom thing. The shaky cam, they're watching him run a certain angle, and he quickly zooms, and gets behind one of the guys, and he starts just shaking and running, shaking and running behind him.
At one point, it looked like one of the cameramen was on like a coffee break or something, and then he just saw the cast running by the alley, and then he picked up the camera and started running after him by the alley.
Oh my god, my job. I'm gonna lose my job. I gotta hurry up. So the second in command guy is in like this tunnel spiral thing. He sets up shop with some explosive devices and whatnot, start shooting at him. The other half of the cops go around at a high advantage, but none of them bring a sniper rifle.
This is wonderful. The SWAT team that's going into the main tunnel to get Khazar and like a handful of guys, they are suppressing them. They are pushing them back. And then they have a team at the backside of the tunnel in this crate area with Thor and a few other guys, and they're ready to pop them in the back outside the tunnel. And for some reason, the SWAT team says, hey, we're going to wait here. You two guys go a little further. you two go check it out. And so they just send two random guys towards the enemies. The guy just is able to stab one and kill the other. And then the SWAT team's, okay, the guys, now we can move in.
Now we can move in. So SWAT
killed
team
those
start
two
moving
guys.
in, and then he lets off his homemade nail bombs, kills a few of them. The rest of them get caught into like a C4 explosion that he set off.
They take Commissioner Gordon to Bane.
Yeah. That's what happens.
So show me his body.
So the cops who are upstairs shooting at them from the top.
Yeah,
the
the crate yard.
They're getting their asses kicked. The cop that I like, the one Asian cop that they just met,
Chris
just
Platt
dies. Yeah,
Chris
Chris
Platt.
Platt dies.
No Platt.
No Platt. And Chris Hemsworth goes, he's like trying to hold the blood in his neck, and it's not happening.
By Mirmir's hammer, you shall be avenged.
As a convict with these two cops still next to him, he picks up a gun and he starts firing back at the bad guys.
And Chin looks over and it's like, man, we're not firing right now. Get your head back in the cover.
Get back in the cover right now. And
Say Galaxy Quest.
Oh, by the way, these were some very, very generous bad guys, because one of them gets shot and they pick him up and they carry him to the boat.
Brotherhood right there.
Yeah, it was very nice of them. And when they're on the boat and they're driving away, the guy's laying down, he looks like he's dead, and one of the guys, the secondary villain, asks, how's he doing? And he goes, well, I don't think he's gonna make it.
I don't think he's gonna pull through.
And at this point, I thought he was gonna do some villain stuff and be like, throw him overboard. No, it just kept going. I guess they took him to the hospital, but we didn't get to see that scene because they was like, well, we can't let people sympathize with these villains.
I'm on the boat, man. I'm going fast, man. I got Thor and his crew trying to cap, man.
So that's what happened. I'm trying to think what comes next in this sequence of events that were just long and drawn out.
We've reached a black hole in the movie's plot.
It was like,
they go back to the nuclear facility and decide that they're going to put on radiation suits and try to recover the hard drive.
Oh, they get a phone call this time. The guy's like, hey, this is a cell phone, and you need to use it next time. So we got the temperatures down to a nice degree where you probably could go in for only about 7 minutes, okay? You got to move fast.
Solid. You got to move fast.
You got to move fast.
And then it cuts
Nobody
to them.
moves fast.
He's just
They're just walking around,
Like the
enjoying
scene
the view.
from Alien versus Predator or something. They're just walking in slowly.
They're enjoying the view in their hazmat suit. They go in. Mustache guy who told them they got to move fast immediately passes out.
And then they were like, "Don't carry anybody because you'll
Yeah.
both be dead by the time
Don't
you try to
carry
get-"
anybody out. You're gonna
It's like-
die of radiation
And
poisoning.
then Thor's like, "You carry him back right now."
Yeah, so he carries it back. Somehow they get to the hard drive of this
It's a
computer that's not melted, by
router.
the way. The router?
I guess it's a hard
Whatever.
drive.
The hard drive didn't melt at all, but they put it in this box.
And then they pour some sort of anti-radiation juice on top of it.
I just thought they poured water on it so it wouldn't be hot no more or something like that.
Oh, okay.
There's like a USB drive on the outside of this box for them to hook up to.
They found out that they couldn't recover it themselves.
Oh, apparently the hard drive did melt.
Destroyed hard drive. And then Thor remembers, "Hey, Viola Davis, whenever I tried to destroy my hard drives and they took me to court, they recovered those bad boys really, really fast." It's like the NSA has a secret program called Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, so they use secret programs. Johansson.
Black Widow.
It's called Black Widow. Oh, God, this is so long and drawn out. They had to trick a guy into giving him his password at the thing because he didn't want to give him access to Black Widow.
Yeah, apparently the NSA, the most secure location on the planet with the most advanced hacking equipment, does not have people screening every single person's email and attachments to make sure there's not some sort of keylog or anything, because he just sends a PDF like, "Hey man, you need to reset your password."
Because Viola Davis asked for it. It was like, no, we're not giving it to you. What's wrong with you, Viola Davis? Shoot.
You were talking to a black woman on the phone. You need to reset your password.
Yeah, you reset your password. You're talking to a black lady. So they he sends him the fake email to reset his password so they get into Black Widow. So they take the files they got off the hard drive, put it into Black Widow so it can repiece them back together, which actually has a Black Widow little symbol on it. How cute.
The NSA has great graphics department.
Yeah, they decided, well, we're going to call it Black Widow. We might as well, make it look cool.
Now all that's
while
left
they're waiting,
is time.
well, yeah,
All
what
that
do
we
they
have
do?
now is to wait, and so they go somewhere.
They go with Viola Davis. They're all eating chimichangas and whatnot.
And watching the horse
Mexican.
races
That is
and-
racist. Chimichangas is Mexican. They're eating dumplings, okay?
You can call me Chica anytime.
Yeah. She tells him at that point in time, "Man, I love you, Chris Hemsworth. Call me Chica anytime." She's trying to be new love interest. Could have a love triangle.
Ooh, if she wasn't so bored with the movie. Every single time it cuts to Viola Davis in this movie, she's got no expression on her face.
A lot of people were bored with this movie. Nobody was trying at all.
Yeah.
So they decrypt everything. Oh, he's in Jakarta. Everybody needs to go to Jakarta. We'll see if we get Chris Hemsworth to come with us.
Chin learns from the Chinese officials that the NSA learned about the violation of their security by Chris Hemsworth's character. And so now Chris Hemsworth is officially a fugitive of the United States, and he's like a top priority fugitive as well, because they think that he compromised the Black Widow system to the Chinese. And the Chinese don't want anything to do with him because they're afraid that they might start a war with something by taking in Chris Hemsworth. So he's not welcome in their country either, and he's on the run from them as well. He's a fugitive of China and of America.
That's very funny how you could just be helping out these two countries. They came and got you. Now all of a sudden you a villain to them. That's the way the world works, I guess.
Yeah.
Him and the two Chins take off. Chin's like, she's like, "I want to go with Chris Hemsworth." And brother Chin is like, "No, you ain't going with Chris Hemsworth. You stay here. Chris Hemsworth needs to go this way."
Chris Hemsworth agrees. I need to go that way. For some reason, they decide, hey, we're going to pull up our car next to you, let you get in the car, and then we're going to let you talk to us again before we leave.
Yeah, so they start driving. Oh, where were we supposed to be going? To the airport or something?
Yeah.
Oh, to drop Chris Hemsworth off at the airport.
And she's just sitting on a random sidewalk because she's the villain trying to set them up.
They pull over, and yeah, they try to get her out. They want to get her out of the car. So she leaves out of the car storming bad, and Chris Hemsworth runs after her. He's like, wait, you are beautiful, and I love you, and you just can't live this life. And turn around, wave bye to your brother, because he's about to die. So she turns around, she does like a smile, like, "Man," and turns back around, and then boom. Yeah, Andrew's laughing. They did it in slow motion.
I was laughing before they shot it because she just waves at the brother, and the brother's so happy, and he's waving back. And then instead of the camera panning back to the two shot of Chris Hemsworth and Chen Ling, for some reason it's got the car on the right frame, and I was like, oh my gosh, this car's about to blow up. And I was just laughing before it happened. And then it happened.
So it blows up mysteriously.
They had a tracker on it, and so they tracked them.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was
a guy was tracking them, and he put a tracker on it, which I thought he put... I don't know if it was a tracker or C4. Apparently it was too small to be C4, so I guess it was a tracker.
But then whenever the car blew up, I wasn't sure. And then they cut back, and it turns out the guy had an RPG in his hand, so...
Sorry, everyone. Yeah, he had an RPG in his hand, which you didn't get to see fired for budget reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
And so they just start shooting at everybody. Meanwhile, Viola Davis and the other guy...
And the bodyguard.
Were riding together, and they just mentioned 9/11 out the blue for some reason.
Don't you invoke 9/11 with me.
You can't invoke the 9/11 cause. How they know that they were under attack?
I think they were just driving by.
Oh, yeah, they were driving because the FBI said you got to go bring in Chris Hemsworth, so they was trying to find him anyways.
Yeah, and he still had the tracker on. For some reason, he didn't take the tracker off immediately.
Take the tracker off immediately.
Yeah.
They was going
so that they could find them for this scene. Oh, and we almost forgot. They have a scene where Viola Davis is like, can you track him? He's still got the tracker on, right? It says he's still here. He pulls out his phone. It says he's still here.
Maybe you want to hit the refresh button on that? He looks through it. It's like, it says 1 year ago. And then he switches it back to 1 hour. He switches it back to 1 hour, hit the refresh button.
Oh man, they got a 24-hour advantage on us. He must have hacked my phone.
How did he do that? It's not like I gave it to him or anything at one point.
Yeah, I would never give him my phone. It's like Viola Davis is like, I don't give a crap
That's
about
when Viola Davis looks at the camera again.
You see this BS of...
This is what I'm working with.
This is what's happening right now. And they got the advantage because everybody on the enemy side is out of their cars. The bodyguard has free flow focus.
Yeah.
And just snipe people with a pistol while the car is moving.
What happens is the bodyguard gets out the window and he does, like Andrew says, the free flow focus. And he just starts shooting these guys headshot after headshot after headshot. I don't know how many villains there were. But he was headshotting a lot of them. But Viola Davis does the dumbest thing and swerves into their line of fire just instead of staying on the back.
She parked the car. You have a bunch of guys with machine guns and assault rifles firing in your general direction, and you stop the car in the open and just get completely out of the car.
I guess she didn't know exactly where Chris Hemsworth and the girl were. Or they see that the villains were shooting. Yeah, they saw the villains shooting at this particular spot. Maybe I should drive around to that spot.
Yeah, and just
get them
say,
in there and then
hey,
drive
get
off.
in. Let's get out of here.
But they didn't.
No, we're gonna open our doors and immediately stand up and exit the vehicle and just stand in the open.
So Viola Davis, I don't think she even got a shot off. They just instantly killed her. Yeah, when she got out the car.
And then she got a nice view of some tower in Hong Kong as she died.
And she reminisced about 9/11.
Was that what that was about?
I think that's what it was. That's
she's
why
looking
they
at a
showed
tower.
They
It's
showed
like
her face again.
Oh, and I'm staring at a tower and it's still up.
Yeah.
I can die happy now or
That's
something.
what happened.
Oh, yeah, the bodyguard on the way there was asking. There was nothing that hinted at this at all earlier in the movie. He just randomly asked out of the blue, so how many did you lose in 9/11? It's like, I lost my husband. And then the bodyguard just looks straight ahead again, like he didn't hear anything. There's no reaction. There's no emotional connection.
I don't even know why I asked you this question.
Yeah, there's no sorry. Nothing. It's just like, well, I guess we're going to our deaths.
Oh,
that was our emotional moment.
So Chris Hemsworth and Lady Chen escape, and they take the subway like he did in Door to Dark World.
Or he's checking out those ladies.
Yeah, goes to the secret Asian chop shop, and they cut off his bracelet.
I don't know why I don't know why the U.S. government is not tracking them at this point. Has not showed up, or the Chinese has not showed up. I guess because they have poor relations at this point, because they think the Chinese hacked them, and neither of them want to cooperate. cooperate so the Americans can go into China and trace their tracker, and they don't want to give them the information to the tracker because they might keep them for their own purposes and put them in a Chinese prison instead of handing them back over to the United States. So I guess it's a huge political issue why no one is tracking Chris Hemsworth right now. He probably could have kept the tracker on for the rest of the movie, and nothing would have happened because of bureaucratic polifrap.
Got the tracker off. But for some reason, the filmmakers decided that the audience isn't smart enough to know that this guy who put the track in the bag was going to take it and get rid of it. So we had to watch this guy take it across a bridge, put it in a... What did he do?
He threw it onto a freighter.
He threw it onto a freighter. And then you had to watch the cell phone of the dead guy, see the tracker moving.
Why was the cell phone still on the ground?
It was I don't know. Yeah, they picked up the bodies, but they didn't pick up the evidence. Excuse me. You keep touching your nose, and you make me think, oh God, something on my nose again. Sorry, I gotta get all the boogies out. The nasty stuff. Okay. So Chris Hemsworth and Lady Chin decide that track down the villain because they got the information they needed.
You think they might be trying to clear their name at first, but it turns out...
Yeah. They thought, oh, yeah, maybe we got to clear Chris Hemsworth's name and we got to survive this and everybody's going to know he's a good guy. Nah. Because at first I was like, wondering, why are they still doing this when it's like China and America hate you right now because of your relationship, like some Romeo Juliet type shit. Oh, I guess because they took it personally because Brother Chin died.
Well, she did cry on the jet out. They took a... Wait, where did they get a private... Was this the jet that was... Where did this jet come from, Raymond?
I think it was the jet that Chris Hemsworth was supposed to take that was secretly set up by Brother Chin before he died.
Oh, it was secretly set up by Brother Chin.
Yeah, because Chris Hemsworth can't get out the country.
So we go to Malaysia, where we found out that another signal was bounced to Malaysia. So we got to see what's going on in the Malaysian server area. They somehow get a very nice looking, like, black
very nice
truck.
SUV.
Yeah, fresh.
Oh, they go to this valley, and in this valley they mine tin, and the villain stole all this money so he could invest it later on in one tin company and flood the valley of the other tin companies. The same water pump that was used at the nuclear facility is made by the same people who have these water pumps on these dams at these tin. So he's going to flood the tin valleys, and the one company's stock was going to rise out the wazoo with the money he stole from the soy, from using it to soy. What the fuck? I don't understand.
Yes, so his whole plan was first to melt down a reactor by testing it on a specific type of fan that is located in a bunch of tin mines in Malaysia, get about $74 million by hacking the stock exchange, and then he goes away with the $74 million in another account, disables a bunch of fans in the tin mines, floods them. Then there's only one tin company left. He invests it all in there, and before you know it, he's gazillion times his $74 million investment, and now he's like the richest man in the world.
This was just extra elaborate for no apparent reason. You got all these hacking skills. You could just stole all the money you wanted. Gotta be
Chris
rich.
Hemsworth steals his money. He's untraceable. He's like the best hacker in the world. He could steal from anybody.
He had this elaborate plot to get all stupid rich, I guess.
Yeah.
Stupid rich.
Stupid.
Like our friend from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 2014 edition.
Thor finds out about his bank account by getting into a lockdown server facility by going to the top of a parking lot that's right next to the server facility, and he backs up his truck aggressively into a moving van that plummets off the side of the parking garage and smack dab through the roof.
And he does all that dumb shit just to go get information off one of these dummy servers or secret servers or whatever. But you probably could have just walked in. You could have pretended like, oh, I'm shopping for a secret server. Can I look around? And got lady friend to distract him. And then you could have just hacked it. But nah, we had to see all that shit.
And then you had the exciting moment where he finally gets into the bank account by telling his new girlfriend, Chin Lady, to walk up to a desk and hand somebody a USB stick to print out a new copy of her speech that she had intentionally put coffee on. And that's how they take down the villain.
The security guy didn't even
non-physically.
check the lady in. We didn't even know what kind of meeting she was going to. All he know is she was just wearing a tight dress, and that just was enough for him.
So it'll be enough for a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, it probably would be enough for me. I would die if some beautiful woman. They just send a beautiful woman after me and I'd die. Anyways, don't anybody do that shit.
Weakness exposed, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, I can't trust any woman. Don't ever walk up to me. No beautiful woman can walk up to me ever again. Someone know you after me. So here you go.
Some beautiful woman walks up to Raymond, and Raymond just does a Macaulay Culkin. It starts running the other way.
That's what's gonna happen. Or karate chopper. Or I don't condone violence against women. I'm sorry.
If this woman really is an assassin sent to kill you, I think it'll pass.
Self-defense.
It is self-defense.
Okay. So
you're an assassin sent to kill me, beautiful woman.
yeah,
Chop!
they probably all are. They all want to kill you, anyways.
This is turning into a completely different show here. We gotta discuss Raymond's relationship woes here.
Oh,
Or
God.
we can get back to the fact that Chris Hemsworth calls up your boy Kazar and says, yo, I want to talk to the head honcho because I stole his billos. 74 million. And it's like, hold, please.
So, the head honcho is Evil Allen from The Hangover.
Maya
So he,
Maya,
Evil Allen is like, give me my money back, please. He was like, no, using my algorithms and whatnot. He's like, I made it better. Just give me my money back. He's like, no, we're going to meet at this spot right here, and we're going to talk about the negotiations of your surrender.
Some Malaysian march ritual, bunch of face-painted girls dancing in front of a significant statue, a bunch of people dressed in red with flames, walking in procession towards these archways and going through them along a very wide street, about maybe, I don't know, a lot. There's a lot. There's an army of people doing this ceremony.
It's like a parade for
Yeah.
a Malaysia parade. Chris Hemsworth told the guy to come by himself. Guy didn't come by himself. He came with henchmen. So Chris Hemsworth was like, I'm changing the deal. Since you didn't want to do that, I'm changing the spot. So he picks a spot where there are innocent civilians at this parade. And people die.
I don't think the bad guys are going to shoot innocent people, especially when there's that many. I'm going to just rubber band this screwdriver under my sleeve and stick a butcher knife in my penis.
Apparently, these civilians don't know what guns look like. Kazar's walking through the crowd with a submachine gun pointed at everybody. People just walking past him. He's like pushing them out the way, and there's still people who see him pushing other people out of the way with this submachine gun in his hand, and they're just like testing him and just keep walking up to him.
This is a very important ceremony, Raymond. Murder cannot stop this.
Yeah, this ain't stopping our ceremony. You and your guns will not win freedom. Chris Hemsworth comes up behind him. Did he have like a small scuffle? Just Chris Hemsworth just...
No, he just cheats, just insta-turns on Chris Hemsworth and points the Uzi or whatever he's carrying right at him. Yeah.
And then Chris Hemsworth's like, okay, my hand's up. Chris Hemsworth's about to like turn around or something. He grabs the guy quickly and stabs him in the neck.
And then they cut to Zach Galifianakis with a look of,
We didn't mention the scene where we bust out laughing where
oh yes,
Zach
the bad
Galifianakis,
guy.
he gets out. This is where he looks just like Alan from The Hangover. He gets out of the car and he's wearing glasses. This is nighttime, by the way. He's wearing glasses with the sunshade attachment on them flipped up. And he just comes out with that crazy look on his face, and
All
it's
the villains
magical.
are in a line, just like in The Hangover, like that one shot in The Hangover in the hallway. You get a full body shot of all of them walking in slow motion, and you just got the evil Alan to the
Evil
left.
Alan to the left with his flipped up sunglasses, and it was beautiful, and we couldn't contain our laughter. Chris Hemsworth kills
Kazar.
Kills Kazar, the Dark Knight guy. He goes after Zach Galifianakis, but then some other two henchmen show up and just start killing innocent people while they try to shoot at Chris Hemsworth. By the way, Chris Hemsworth attached phone books to his body to not get shot, but he got shot anyways. Because phone books don't work that way, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it was mainly for the stabbing in case somebody tried to reverse the knives back onto him. I think that was the plan, which came in handy in a couple seconds. But right now he's being shot at.
That was a neck shot. That wasn't a body shot. How did he get phone books on his neck?
I have no idea.
Okay, we spoiled it for you. So he shoots and takes down the two guys who were shooting at him.
By the way, they're editing it to seem like only the bad guys are hitting people, but obviously Chris Hemsworth has to be hitting people because he's missing.
At this point, the civilians, when the shooting starts, they start running.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth hesitates a couple times after he misses, like, "Ooh, man, I missed. Dang, that guy's dead." They don't show him accidentally hitting somebody, but you can tell by the expression on his face, like, "Ooh, I'm gonna hold off shooting for a bit."
So Chris Hemsworth goes,
"Dang, my bad, my bad. Hold up. Let me line up the
takes
next
out
shot."
the two guys. Oh, the guys clip him and shoot him in the phone books in his body area.
They shoot him in the phone books.
Yeah, they shoot him in the phone books. So he's like, "Oh, I'm staggering." Oh, so the guy,
Right in the Bell South.
yeah, Zach Galifianakis is coming up behind him and is about to stab him or shoot him.
He's about to stab him.
He's about to stab him. And he does. He stabs
Why doesn't
him
Zach
in the neck.
Galifianakis have a gun?
The main villain doesn't need a gun, Andrew, because he's got hacking powers.
Okay.
All right, that's our explanation for that. So he stabs him in the neck, but he's got phone books on the neck too, which we didn't see. And he stops him, and he flips him over, and he pulls out a secret knife
Out of his crotch.
He does like, "You don't know me, fool. I was in prison. Prison shakes him real good."
Right into Alan's chest.
He prison shakes Alan real nicely. And, he walks away scot-free. And no cops show up or nothing.
And the woman and Chin Ling earlier had gone to a pharmacy and picked up some supplies in case he got shot.
Yeah.
She could bandage him up. She's like, "Sorry, it's an emergency," and she cut the line.
The writers thought they was being clever, y'all.
We're gonna park right outside this event where all these people just got shot up, and I was one of the main people involved in all of this crap. We're just gonna park right outside there and patch you up with the overhead light on in the car.
They patch him up. He don't die. They don't go to the hospital. Next day, they go get the money that the bad guy stole. Now they're using it, and they're flying, and they go and live happily ever after, I suppose.
Yeah.
The end. Oh.
General thoughts.
General thoughts. This movie was slow.
This movie was so slow, man. What the fruit happened? I was telling Wally, shout out to Wally.
Yeah.
I was telling Wally after the movie that I don't think anybody actually watched this movie. I feel like I watched the assembly cut. They just put it in order, but they didn't cut anything out of any of the scenes. They just put it in chronological order and just left it. The restaurant scene that we were talking about earlier, there's a shot of it takes them 5 minutes to sit down and get to the actual scene. You literally could have cut from the other scene where they just got the Khazar guy straight into the restaurant scene in the middle of their conversation where they start having a heart-to-heart and she's trying to get him to open up. But instead, we have this long sequence of they park, you see them walk all the way in, we follow them with a not-so-steady cam while they sit down, and then you watch them look over the menus a bit. I think somebody came over and placed some stuff on their table. And then you pause for an extra minute. And then they start having a conversation.
It was just terrible editing.
I guess it was trying to do a realistic atmosphere or something, you think? Like he's trying to make it feel gritty and real by slowing everything down, maybe?
But I hate gritty and real. That's not why I go to the movies.
But at the same time, the movie's shallow. There's very little conversations going on. Nobody's talking about the things that are unfolding or about to unfold.
Nope. They don't have any kind of conversations like that. Nobody connects with what's going on in the story at all.
Or with each other.
Yeah, except for when Chris Hemsworth connected with the Lady Chin.
Well, literally, yeah.
Okay.
But
it just seemed like the writers were trying to be clever, but they weren't at all. They were this common sense shit. And again, it's where they just treat the audience like they stupid sometimes, and we're not stupid. You and the editors need to find a better way for this.
How did you feel about the relationship between Chris Hemsworth and Chin Ling?
Chin Ling's the lady?
Lady Chin.
I thought it was random because there was no mention like she visited him and her brother back in college or something. There's nothing like that. Like, him and the brother kind of connect. I thought they was going to have like a homosexual type of subplot between them, but it wasn't.
That would have been an interesting wrinkle to
That's
the
what
movie.
it seemed like. That, like, he was like, because I thought whenever he saw the sister in the bed with him, he was going to be like jealous and be like, you know, I care about you ever since college or whatever. Because it seemed like he was like that, but he wasn't. I don't think he was gay.
Yeah, I get the feeling that the only reason she opened up to him in the first place is it was a person that her brother really couldn't refuse, like you said earlier. That I know that you were both best friends. I know he's not going to say no to you. And I'm tired of him being so overprotective of me. And I just need some right now. And you're here.
She could have been with Blue Lost Galaxy, but he cock-blocked that. So.
Yeah, you want a thug from prison over a blue Power Ranger.
Exactly. Look at this movie.
Nobody wants fun anymore,
stupid.
Raymond.
Can't have fun. Can't have fun in movies, y'all. We gotta have this bored ass shit. Again, just slow, and the whole premise of this movie with the hacking and stuff, the whole plot with that guy, all that stuff he did where he had to test it out on this and then make the stock go up for this and then take the money out and then put it in this stock and then blow this up. Why? What are you doing? Do one thing and get all the money. I think originally this plot was supposed to be some maniac person doing all this stuff, and they were trying to catch him. It seemed like, but they were like, no, people were probably tired of that kind of plot line. Let's just do it about the money. So they made all this elaborate stuff about the money.
But aren't people getting tired of the money as well? I mean, are we flipping back to money? Because after Die Hard, it was all about the money. Like, Die Hard was the first one that really, well, as far as I know, I wasn't really that conscious back then.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it was the first one to really joke about the fact that obviously it's just for the money. This is not for some cause. And then it became, it's not about a cause or money. Whenever The Dark Knight came out, some people just want to watch the world burn, and they start off this movie like as if it's going to be a Joker type character who just is hacking to hack.
They probably should have just went around with that, just somebody who's hacking a hack, causing trouble just because, or you know how they do where, my family member died in this war or died for this or something like that. They were upset, so they just go crazy.
It would open the door for a lot more possibilities. Him setting up other countries to think other countries did something and blah, blah, blah. Him almost trying to start World War III for some sadistic reason. That this one guy
You see how we could just come up with like better motivation for a villain right now?
Maybe it's a guy who hates history and how it repeats itself and hates technology. I don't know. Somebody who just
there was no underlining theme to this, Andrew. Don't try to find
somebody who wants to go down in the history books or know that he started this. Like, I started World War III and no one will ever know. It's my secret. That would be amazing. That could have been an amazing thing.
Twist. Yeah, it could have been great for this crazy person. But
I'm setting it up, and guess what? You lost. There's no way you can politically explain to all these people at all these moments, like he's setting every country against each other politically and with attacks and stuff, and there's no way you could ever explain this. I've already won, even if you kill me now. That would be a major ending right there.
It would have been, but it was
with a message too.
There you go. But nope, you have to have this stupid happy ending crap of this slow movie. And then they never fully explained what was trying to be hacked in the beginning with America to get America involved. It was just the Chinese were involved because their plant blew up.
I guess I just assumed it was an American plant, maybe, that also had
trying
those
to
fans.
test out on two different plants?
On two different plants, yeah.
But he failed on one plant, so why do you think that it was going to work on these dams if he failed one plant, though?
Well, he failed one plant because he couldn't get through the security.
He had a 50-50 chance. I know, but what if the dams had security?
Well, I guess I can't do my plot in America, but everywhere else doesn't have good enough security.
He had a 50-50 chance of it working, so this guy could have failed without Chris Hemsworth.
How'd you feel about Chris Hemsworth's low tones in this movie? It's like it was as if the movie wanted a Guy Pearce type actor in the role. I got a Guy Pearce vibe whenever he first spoke in the beginning of the movie. but they wanted a younger Guy Pearce because it would have been awkward for him to sleep with his 20-year-old.
They just wanted like a badass character for us to connect with. And, he's talking about how he, in prison, you got to use your mind and stuff. They have the scene after the whole, where they raid his prison cell. He does the body work and stuff. And, he's trying to just be a focused guy. But I really didn't care for him. Did they explain why he was in prison again?
They explained it during a restaurant scene early on in the movie, but he's mumbling. He was mumbling so low that I couldn't understand his lines.
Yeah, what happened was he started clearly talking about, I got in a bar fight with a guy, and then I went to jail for a couple of months, and then I got out, and then he starts talking about what he actually did to be in jail for 13 years, but you couldn't hear it at all. It didn't make, didn't make sense.
And then he says, and then they have a really weird edit during a late night love scene where they just randomly insert a bit of exposition about something about being a single father.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think, was he talking about his own dad or something like that? Or
I don't know what he was talking about. It was so out of context. And then they have it just trail off and they cut back to him not talking to her. So did that actually occur, or is he thinking about opening up to her or something? Is that supposed to be a metaphorical?
Oh my God. I'm not even going to try to think on that, Andrew, because that is ridiculous.
Yeah. Viola Davis looks incredibly bored, and sometimes it even looks like she might fall asleep where she's standing.
A lot of characters look bored in this movie.
Yeah. The editors were bored of this movie. There were 4 editors on this movie. I laughed at the end whenever I saw that there were 4 editors on this movie. Yet it's running so slow, and no one can pick up the pace. And
I guess it was the type of movie. It was directed by Michael Mann, huh? And he did Collateral, which wasn't slow paced, but it was it was nicely placed.
It was a nice compact movie. I thought that one was maybe 90 minutes, maybe.
It was a nice,
maybe
simple
100?
plot, and things were happening.
It flowed nicely, but at the same time, it was tight and compact. The editing never felt dynamic. I felt they started shots too early, or maybe they ended it a bit too soon. Certain glances that characters are giving each other, if you held that a little bit longer, the audience might have laughed. It's like, oh, I kind of like that character, but you cut it a little too soon. And
he did Heat and Public Enemies. Those were nice movies. They were pretty good. I don't know what happened with this one. I guess they were just trying to do a seriouser role or something, or I don't know.
Maybe he just wasn't in the mood because he had to go to China for the majority of the movie and he was away from his family or something. Maybe something was going wrong.
Somebody was not happy and they just filmed this ridiculous movie. And like you said, nobody watched it.
Yeah, nobody
sat down.
They couldn't have watched this. I don't think
nobody at the studio.
Nobody at Universal Studios watched this movie, Raymond. This feels like a diplomatic gesture. Like Universal wanted to make a movie in China. That way they could get good relations for their bigger, more important movies to film certain scenes in China and get their discount and be distributed over there, because China's developing into a huge film market, but you can only release movies that are partially made in China over in China.
With Legendary, because they got their hands into everything. There wasn't a Jurassic Park trailer on this movie, was there? Huh?
There was no Jurassic Park trailer. That is very curious.
That's Legendary and Universal as well, huh? Then nobody wants to put their heart into making films anymore. That's all I got to say about it. I don't even know if they do multiple takes anymore. It seems like they just like they just like film the one take. Like, okay, it's good enough for me, and they roll out. Somebody could have said a joke in the movie. There was no jokes in the movie. Come on, man. It's very bland.
It's languid. It's just happening, and no one cares in the movie, and I don't care for the movie.
Yeah, it's just you don't care about this movie at all.
No. And if the people who make it don't care,
why should we?
Well, I think that's a good note to end on, Raymond. It's getting late.
It is getting pretty late. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe. We didn't tell you that in the first video. Like and subscribe. We told you to tell friends and to tell some more friends. Make sure those friends tell some more friends to like and subscribe as well. Also, leave us a comment or something. Give us your feedback, please.
All right. For the Parking Lot Projectionists, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Raymond.
Shutting it down.